Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening, as in this evening, not next week's evening. Introducing from Damansara Uptown, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, weighing in at a few streams delayed. Here's your fellow Uptown low Cornelius LOW. Okay, I'm sorry. I know that I haven't been streaming in a while. I've been very, very inconsistent for the past, months? Has it been a month? Or something insane like that? Yeah, I know. It's been very, very inconsistent. I dropped another stream in the past week. It just can't be helped. Just been able to I've just been super preoccupied with other matters that I need to be careful about, that sort of thing. So I just want to be careful about these kind of things in it. So I need to be just center myself, stay calm, and just do the streams. Just in case if anyone is not aware, if anyone watching here who is not aware of who I am, my name is Cornelius LOW, professional wrestler turned butler VTuber. Yes, indeed, folks, I am indeed an actual professional butler. Professional wrestling butler. I mean, oh god, sorry. As you can tell, I'm still a bit frazzled that I had a technical mishap where I was supposed to stream today, but I set the YouTube waiting room to next week instead. Yes. Anyways, look, it's me taking a sleeper suplex, folks. So yes, the guy in the white mask, that's actually me, actually wrestling and getting smashed. Happy now. Yeah. Also, just in case, as you can see up here, let me just take out my running props. You can see, so right up here, it says here, Low Anniversary 2024. Oh, I'm still feeling it in 2024, folks. I am basically continuing my Low Anniversary donathon/subathon-ish thing, as you can see here next to me. So basically, essentially at donos at every $10 you get a free spin. So we are almost there at $30 actually. So if we continue this on and we reach 50 USD, I will actually do all the stretch goals that you see here, from 666 subs all the way to 700. Don't worry, that 666 sub that will happen within this month. I will show you of that. I just need to plan accordingly to have all the cards in the right places. Last thing I want is just to throw myself into League of Legends and then just suffer as a result. Well, yes, I know I'll be suffering when playing League of Legends, but it's more that I want to go in at least slightly prepared, whatever in the world that may mean. So this will continue on for about 9 more days, and then it shall cease. So here's your chance, folks. Here's your chance to make me do stuff that I kind of wish I'd rather not do. Okay. So the reason why this stream is open in the first place is because I just realized something. It's something that I will talk a little bit more about it next week when I do my recap of 2024. Talk a little bit more about it. But essentially, I realized that my channel here, especially in the previous year, not to say that it hasn't been a little bit of a space for pro wrestling, but I feel like it's not been enough of a space for professional wrestling. I am a professional wrestler. I love professional wrestling. And unlike some other pro wrestlers, I enjoy all sorts of professional wrestling and have researched quite deeply into all sorts of professional wrestling. So I'm not just a WWE lifer. My scope isn't as narrow as this WWE. I know all sorts. Like if you were to see my thumbnail for this stream, you will see that I am very, very aware of a variety of professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. And so I think what I can definitely say for this year, one of my goals is to have my channel be a platform where we can explore professional wrestling further. It's something that I kind of regret not doing more of last year. Partly because I was indeed focused on IRL wrestling. I feel like that's not really a proper excuse anymore, frankly speaking. It's not like I wrestle every week, after all. So I need to make my channel here almost a bigger community, almost a forum, I suppose, for professional wrestling, where we can, because I am very aware that a lot of folks really do, and all over the world enjoy professional wrestling, but they have no one to talk to about it. You know, you might enjoy professional wrestling, but let's face it, you might be the only one in your friend circle that enjoys professional wrestling. Roping in your close friends for professional wrestling, God knows I've tried. It's hard. It's very, very, very hard. For a lot of folks, it's really much their thing, but for a lot of your peers, it is very much not their thing at all. It is something that you cannot force upon anyone at all. They have to learn to get into it rather organically. It can't be forced. I've learned this many, many years ago. Like I've tried to get my friends interested in professional wrestling, as in just to enjoy it. Especially because as a professional wrestler myself, obviously I invite my friends and family to come and check me out. But sometimes that's the extent of it, checking me out. So I need to turn my space. I almost need to be almost like I need to turn this space here, what I have here, into a bit of a hub for professional wrestling. Indeed, obviously that's come with a bit of caveats. After all, I'm an active professional wrestler, still training, still looking forward to the next event. So I'm going to be very, in a way, diplomatic with how I handle these things. There's been some, let's say, there's some forums, some other YouTube channels where they can dive more into the opinions and hot takes, that sort of a thing. Not to say I won't have an opinion or hot take myself. Hello there, Lena. Hello there. Welcome to Cafe Cornelius. We're talking about professional wrestling. So hence why you're here, of course. So yeah, in case if you haven't heard me, I intend for 2025 to be the year that my channel here becomes a better hub for professional wrestling. Not to say that it wasn't already. I did some. Obviously, I have done SEMS, Square Circle Made Simple, my professional wrestling game show, a good bit last year. But I can ramp it up more. And SEMS will not be the only example of professional wrestling in 2025. In fact, I'm actually wondering if what I'm doing here, talking about professional wrestling, whether this can be an ongoing thing. Like doing event reviews, a teeny bit. I wouldn't say going so far as to specialize in stuff like that. Because remember, by nature of me being an active professional wrestler, it is in bad taste for me to be a professional wrestling critic. Because like if I criticize another event, like if I do like actively do a review, I almost feel like that's in bad taste as a fellow wrestler. Because, and trust me when I say that the professional wrestling world is very insular, very tight-knit. Kind of not even kidding when I say that that I am mutuals with people in very, very large events that I am I am mutuals with people that have been very, very high-key large events. And the last thing I want is for my friend who's connected to that other friend to come at me because I went at them, I criticized them in a distasteful way. I will get into those events very, very soon, actually. I will talk about having chit-chatting about these things, being a bit of a forum for you guys, my regulars, to talk about events via me. I think that's a great way to go about it. Actually, that's not how I'm going about it. I can be a conduit for whatever you guys want to talk about. So essentially, it's in the name. Want to talk about pro wrestling? If you guys want to talk about anything, especially because today itself and yesterday there was a lot that happened, right? A lot that happened. So you guys can start this off, actually. And I can obviously there'll be certain things I will also give a little mention as well. I've got my own little list of things I want to have a little chat about because I feel like it's stuff that's sort of important, And if you guys want to bring up any topics, any questions, who better to ask than an active wrestler? That's what I'm here for. I'm kind of like a what's the word? I'm kind of like Maven Huffman light, I suppose. I love Kenny Omega. I'm happy he's back. I'm happy he's back too. And my word, he very, very much proved himself today, didn't he now? In fact, Lena, did you actually watch Omega versus Gabe Kidd today? So yes, obviously a big topic for today indeed will be Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty 2025. My goodness, very, very interesting events actually. This is a I wouldn't say it's a bit of a transition year for New Japan, but it sort of is. Can't be helped in a way. It's a bit of a rebuilding era right now for New Japan, Yes, it was awesome. Lovely. So, for those who aren't aware, Wrestle Kingdom, it is the event for New Japan Pro Wrestling. It is their version of WrestleMania. But this year, something very interesting happened. Where the second day, I suppose, of Wrestle Kingdom, I wouldn't even call it second day, but the Sunday, which is today, Wrestle Dynasty. It is basically in some ways, I suppose it's like a Japanese version of Forbidden Door. So it is a cross-promotion event where it is, I believe, New Japan, All Elite Wrestling, AEW, Ring of Honor, and CMLL are involved, all come together for one show. So it's a massive, massive event. Okay, so I'm going to talk only about certain specific matches, partly because I did not have the time to watch all the matches today, just some of it. Some of the ones that piqued my interest in particular. And I suppose, since Elena mentioned it, as mentioned Kenny Omega, let's dive into Wrestle Dynasties. Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd. What an interesting setup this is. So, to those who aren't aware, a little bit of the backstory of Kenny Omega versus Gabriel Kidd, or Gabe Kidd, as he's called in Japan. So, Kenny Omega's back. Announced his return. He's booked in this match, I believe, versus Gabe Kidd. And Gabe Kidd is like, he's been one of the war dogs of Bullet Club. That's also a whole other story, isn't it? Now where that's like almost like a Bullet Club splinter faction. But I'm actually gonna not talk about them so much right now because I really want to focus on Gabe here. And he's a bit of a loudmouth sort of lad, or a bit of a chav, I suppose. I suppose that's a bit of his gimmick. But he's very passionate about New Japan, saying touting that it's the best in the world. That's what the best wrestlers are, and he's almost become like in some ways like the new guy defending his company's honor, so to speak. And Kenny Omega is sort of seen as like someone that has left New Japan for a sort of better pastures, establishing AEW, establishing like another big wrestling promotion in North America, And he was seen in some ways very much where as someone that had left New Japan, where New Japan is where he very much made his name for many, many years, having that unbelievable quadrilogy against Okada. Those days of watching Kenny Omega versus Okada, oh man, that quadrilogy is still like, it still shakes me up a little bit. I love Kenny in AEW, but in NJPW, he's on a whole different level. I would say everyone operates differently in NGPW. Whenever you wrestle in NGPW, you wrestle almost like a different person. Almost. It's like I like to think of it like a company policy thing. You know, not every movie studio is going to operate the same. Not every fight promotion is going to operate the same. Not every publishing house is going to be the same. Not every wrestling promotion is going to be the same. Yeah. In North America, story has always been the forefront. Long story arcs, the melodrama of it all. New Japan, not to say that they don't emphasize story. They emphasize a good bit of story. A lot of people do not realize this. But they very much almost emphasize the sports side of it, the athletics side of it, and that's where the story blossoms. What happens in ring, hence why, and that very much does play into Kenny Omega's strengths as just an elite athlete, able to tell the story within the ring as opposed to outside the ring. Mind you, outside the ring, he's pretty darn good as well. Kenny's got a mouth in him as well. And Gabe Kidd and Kenny Omega very much established that. They brawled. They had very public brawls. They threw harsh words at each other. Hello there, Don. Welcome. Come. We're chatting a little bit about professional wrestling. It's all good. It's all good. This is the forum for it, Don. This is the forum for it. So ask away. So they will go. So there was already a little bit of heat going into this event already. Ooh, I used the word heat. Spicy. So there was already in the sense there's already anticipation. The old guard versus the new guard. The young upstart versus, in some ways, a legend. The guy in good health versus the guy coming back from a serious disease. Were you guys aware that Kenny Omega went through diverticulitis? The same medical condition that Brock Lesnar went through. It's like a damage to the large intestine, if I'm not wrong, and it is hellishly damaging to the body. I believe Omega, he took almost more than the whole year to recover. That's how bad it was. He detailed this in an interview, I think, where he mentioned something like what was it? Like he went through this match, and he wasn't even very active in the match at all, but he could feel himself falling apart in that match, and and that was a huge wake up call for him that he needed to to just recover, take a long recovery period, because if not, he might actually not survive legitimately. That's how severe it was. That's how severe his diverticulitis was. Gabe Kidd did just as great as Kenny in that match. Absolutely. Let's get into that match. So going into this match, it was already a lot of heat and anticipation, and they went at it almost immediately, and it almost became a bit of a hardcore match. That's the thing a lot of people don't realize when it comes to New Japan main events. And mind you, this is considered one of the main events in New Japan. The referee is allowed to. They are very, very lax with the rules. Hence why you see chairs being used, tables being used, people being thrown onto tables, that sort of a thing. And I was very very happy to see that Kenny is basically practically in his tip-top shape. It looked like Kenny Omega of old in that sense. So it very much was Gabe Kidd trying to overcome this, in some ways, living legend of a wrestler. Kenny Omega, he was hurting a little bit, clutching his gut. Maybe still feeling the effects of his surgery, I suppose. But did he do a freaking topic on Halo over the guardrail onto Gabe Kidd? Did he throw the powerbomb Gabe Kidd through 2 tables. Absolutely, he did. You know. So and also this is interesting too. I'm not sure if people realize this. Alina, were you aware that Gabe Kidd, in some ways, before this match, he was very much booed. He was very much booed. And seen as a bit of a villain, I suppose. Until this match, where, I mean, the man wore New Japan shorts. He wore shorts without knee pads. I gotta say, that's a bit... I don't know why. Another wrestler that doesn't wear knee pads. Okay, yeah. This is me being nitpicky again with people with wrestlers gear. What is it with certain wrestlers and wrestling without knee pads? It just seems like such a... I don't know how certain wrestlers do it, man. I don't know how. He used to wear knee pads, did he not? Anyways, either way, the intensity of this match went through the roof. Especially when they started bleeding, too. Like, oh my goodness, I think it became far bloodier than people realized. Like, they were gushing a good bit. Not to the point where, like, the whole mat was stained red. Thank goodness. If not, yeah, that could be bad. I saw Gabe Kidd's interview from Fightwood before the match. Very heel-like. You say that, but he very much was. I believe, and I could be wrong here. After all, I sort of flutter through these things a little bit. He's very loyal to New Japan, you know, wearing the New Japan shorts, yelling at Kenny in Japanese. I don't know if anyone caught that. He was actually like yelling and swearing at Kenny in Japanese. You do not do that unless if you feel that you warrant the support of the audience, you know? That's kind of why Kenny, Kenny. In spite everyone in Japan knows that he is so damn fluent in Japanese. For many years, when he was in New Japan, he did not speak a lick of Japanese. Until he did this one time when he called out Okada. That was it. That was the start of it all, I think. I think he spoke a little bit more Japanese after that. But for the most part, yeah, if you want to show that you're on the side of the New Japan faithful, you speak Japanese. And man, arguably the craziest thing about that whole match was what happened after, you know. So, I mean, the match practically happened only a few hours. It practically happened only a few hours before my stream. Actually, yeah, before my stream. Is it okay for me to spoil already as to who won? Okay, spoiler alert! On the Gabe Kidd Kenny Omega match. If you wanna skip ahead a little bit by a few minutes, in case if you're watching this VOD, and skip away. But yeah, Kenny Omega won with a one-winged angel. He won with a one-winged angel. Although I gotta give it to Gabe though. They really worked the crowd, especially I don't think a lot of people realize this. Gabe did a lot of stuff that much called back to New Japan of old. Like for instance, going into doing like certain moves and reversals that was very reminiscent of old New Japan. The commentators themselves are called out on it too. Kenny tried to do a suplex, but Gabe reversed it into an abdominal stretch. That's an Antonio Inoki move. The commentators called out too. So Gabe was very, very much reaching into the New Japan pocket here. He even did a Kawada driver. Dropped him on his head. Dropped Kenny Omega on his head with a Kawada driver. God, I loved me a good Kawada driver. Like, I'm one of those guys that does mark out a little bit over power drivers. I don't know. It's such an old school but effective move. Yes, it's a little bit spicy to do it in WWE, but like, it's spicy. especially the Kawada driver. I love me a Kawada driver. What are you guys' favorite moves? Like, I mean, I have a soft spot for the Kawada driver. But here's the crazy part. It was not the crazy part. Was not the one-way angel. It was not the Kawada driver. It wasn't even the powerbomb on the 2 tables. It was the fact that after the match was done, Kenny Omega's hand was raised in victory. Gabe Kidd rolled out of the ring, looking all bloody and disappointed with himself. Tanahashi was in visible tears. He was literally like choking up. Like he was on commentary. Tanahashi I believe he was at the commentary table helping out with commentary. He was choking up. I've never seen Tanahashi choking up like that before, especially in a match that he wasn't involved in. What? Like, I don't know. Maybe he's just a really good actor. I mean, Tanahashi has acted before in a movie, or maybe he was actually genuinely feeling it. You know, Tanahashi was all of us at the moment. Good call. Yes, because that match genuinely had emotions. A lot of people seem to forget that. Seem to think that have this to this day have a certain mindset that New Japan is all action. It's like combat sports. It's just unbearing fighting. It's just unrelenting fighting spirit. But all that fighting spirit is meant to lead to emotion, to get you to feel something, you know? And the entire point of that whole match was Gabe Kidd, in some ways, trying to represent the new generation of New Japan. Trying to be the new guard, stopping the forces of this old guard, this legendary wrestler coming back and just immediately getting a match in a massive high-profile event like Wrestle Dynasty. The first Wrestle Dynasty, too, mind you. I suppose it's because Tanahashi was aware of Gabe's history, you know. For those who aren't aware, okay, raise your hands, folks. Raise your hands. Who here has seen Gabe Kidd, or rather Gabriel Kidd, wrestle in Britain? And I don't mean like live in person. I mean like you're aware of his exploits in Britain, because he's a Brit after all. And he was in this plucky little wrestling promotion called What Culture Pro Wrestling, WCPW. A wrestling promotion that was primarily on YouTube. It's been a while since I talked about WCPW, but like this was the promotion where I talked about the Pro Wrestling World Cup, WCPW World Cup. To this day, the only true international pro wrestling tournament, the only true global pro wrestling tournament where you had wrestlers genuinely from all over the world, you know, that wrestling promotion. And Gabe Kidd was a very, very big part of that for a long, long time. He was seen as like the plucky rookie, I suppose, back in those years. And even back then, he was already seen as just freaking good. He was in some ways seen as a bit of a prodigy. That's why he was involved with so many matches. He wrestled ZSJ in WCPW. You know, that's like he's faced ZSJ all those years ago. Like has it been close to a decade already? I haven't watched any WCPW. You should check it out. For example, okay, I'm gonna go typey a little bit on WCPW right now. Okay, watch this. Okay, type it with me, folks. Type it with me. WCPW ZSJ versus Gabriel Kidd. You should type in Gabriel Kidd because that's what he was known at in WCPW. There you go. Gabriel Kidd versus ZSJ for the internet title match in Defiant Wrestling. They renamed themselves to Defiant Wrestling, but everyone calls it, you know, obviously, What Culture Pro Wrestling. Yeah, and they faced each other at least twice. At least twice, you know. So Kid's been at this for like a long time. Like the first video I see of Gabriel Kidd's earlier years and even ZSJ's, Define Wrestling or What Culture Pro Wrestling is your place to go to. Mm-hmm. So going back to Tanahashi, like, yeah, it's crazy to see him emotional like that. And then to see that he became a young lion, joined the War Dogs, you know, and then in some ways this was his proving grounds match. This is a non-title match booked as one of the main events in Wrestle Dynasty. And Gabriel Kidd succeeded on every front. I don't know how close Tanahashi is to Gabriel Kidd, but man, he looked like a proud dad. He looked like such a proud dad. Because in some ways, oh yeah, do you guys know there's this funny term that gets thrown around when it comes to New Japan? It's called a New Japan dad. So New Japan dads are people like Satoshi Kojima, Yuji Nagata, Tenzan. The Taguchi part of that, I'm actually not so sure, but he's getting up there. And in some ways, I think Tanahashi is considered a bit of a New Japan dad at this point. Basically, a veteran of New Japan, where you are, in some ways, like one of the older veterans. But you know, it's a little bit longer in the tooth. Doesn't wrestle as explosively or as quickly as you are in the past. But you're still a very well-established, well-known name. So you know, you're not involved in very high-profile matches anymore. Mostly in tag matches, but you're still a very welcome sight. That's a New Japan dad. That's kind of what Tanahashi is right now, frankly speaking. Especially because, whew, man, have you guys seen Tanahashi wrestle recently? It's a bit rough, I won't lie to you. Like, you know, who am I to judge on a wrestler's explosiveness and athleticism? But I've seen him land far more cleaner sling blades. Let's put it that way. You know, it's very obvious that Tanahashi has very much put his whole body for New Japan, and it's showing its wear and tear very, very much so. In fact, it's not just him as well. There's actually a match in particular that I actually want to check out. That I haven't checked it out yet. This is the one in Wrestle Kingdom. It is Hiromu Takahashi versus Tetsuya Naito. I basically, it is to my understanding that for all of the wear and tear that happens on Tanahashi, arguably Naito might have it worse, apparently. I need to check out that match versus Takahashi to see for myself before I really have any proper judgments. With Tanahashi, I can at least say I've seen him land the sling blade much more snugly before. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I mean, obviously I have not seen all of the matches in Wrestle Dynasty, but I think it's almost fair to say that the most emotionally riveting match was Gabriel Kidd versus Kenny Omega. I also watched the main event that came right after, which is Ricochet versus ZSJ. Gods, trying to follow up on that. It's almost like Hogan versus Rock. There's this very famous match of Hogan versus Rock in WrestleMania, and they were the co-main event. So they were the event. Oh my God, Hogan versus Rock. So I'm doing a bit of an analogy here. So there was this WrestleMania where it was Hogan versus Rock, and then an event after that. I believe Chris Jericho was involved in that main event, and he felt that it should have been switched because Hogan versus Rock absolutely took the breath away out of everyone. It was two iconic wrestlers squaring off against each other for the first time ever. And that match, in many ways, turned Hogan from a nefarious villain back to classic Hulk Hogan that we all love. Well, the wrestler Hulk Hogan at least. Aha! Look at me throwing shade. And again, that one had an emotional connection with the audience. Same thing with Gabriel Kidd and Kenny Omega. The audience after that about half an hour of emotional wrestling, where there was a genuine story being told. It wasn't just two dudes bashing each other senselessly. There was a real story being told here, where you could see there was one young upstart wrestler truly blossoming into someone special. And another match has to follow up that. I feel like Omega versus Kidd is match of the year contender. Hold all the bricks on there. We're only 5 days into 2025 here. We're only 5 days into 2025 here. It's a little bit too soon to call it. Like it's Biggie. hold your horses there. Hold your horses there, leader. I feel bad for the main event. Bit of an uphill battle, I gotta say. Mind you, it's Ricochet versus ZSJ, which is already a little bit hard to follow up in already. For a few reasons. One, I believe there has not been enough build-up of ZSJ versus Ricochet. Ricochet did very much insert himself into the main event scene by attacking Zack Sabre in a previous event. I forgot what the name was called, but I believe it was the previous big event. So he attacked Zack Sabre post-match. So there was a little bit of heat going into it, admittedly, but not enough. Even with Ricochet starting off the match hot, where before the bell even rang, Ricochet went after ZSJ hard. No. So in some ways it was, I wouldn't say that it was telling a similar story. But it was sort of following the but it was very much a New Japan faithful versus an outsider who still had a strong connection to New Japan. Okay, don't forget, guys, Ricochet was very much a big part of New Japan for a long time, being very much a cornerstone in their junior heavyweight scene, you know, where his skills could be for all to see. But the thing is that when it comes to like more storied events with like genuine heat, emotions running high, unfortunately, their main events are two wrestlers that aren't really known for that. Or rather, they are able to do it, but they're still working on it. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm actually very impressed with Ricochet in this match. Like, this was a very different side of Ricochet. This was him working heel. This was him almost doing a bit of a Will Ospreay, you know? With that said, I find it cool that ZSJ main evented both these nights. Yes. That's actually very impressive, actually. I'll give it to ZSJ. He very much carried. He is very much seen as the guy to beat in New Japan right now, which is no small feat, and something that he's worked for and established himself in, and been trying to establish himself in for a long time. So it's absolutely well deserved. But the thing is, and he's better at it now. But there was a time where, for all his techniques, for all his incredible maneuvers, his gigantic bag of tricks, you are amazed by a ZSJ match, but whether you care for a ZSJ match, that is a different story altogether. I won't lie to you, especially in ZSJ's earlier years when I was watching him, I would watch him to learn from him, as opposed to caring for him for the match that he was in. I would put it this way: I would analyze Zack Sabre's matches as opposed to enjoying Zack Sabre's matches. These days, I can safely say that it is sort of the opposite now. He has this gigantic bag of tricks, But now I actually care. I actually care because he's been able to, you know, get emotions running high. He's absolutely able to do that now, you know. But again, it goes back to that they have to follow up from Gabe Kidd versus Omega. It's a hard thing to follow up with, you know. But they did well. They did well for themselves, you know. It's not like the crowd was dead. You know, I absolutely must be very clear, okay? Watch the match for yourselves. That match was not a dead crowd. People were clearly behind Zack Sabre. And people were clearly against Ricochet. I gotta give it to Ricochet too. Like, he basically put it this way. A lot of the guys coming from the American independent scene and the British independent scene, people like Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre, it took them a while, but they've basically learned that you gotta learn how to get the audience to care for you without having to do crazy moves. It's something that I very much try to do myself, you know. How to get the audience to care for you without having to throw your life for it. Ricochet has proven himself at this. In some ways, this is also Ricochet proving himself as well. That he is able to do a match by even though he's doing a very different role. Remember, for the longest time, Ricochet was like the plucky babyface. He was the guy that you are rooting for. Now he's switching up the roles a little bit. And you can see too, and he's actually doing a good job at it. He's changing things up for the first in the long time. I mean, in AEW, he literally blindsided what was his face? Swerve. He bloodied Swerve badly. Was he a heel at any point in WWE and NXT? No, not at all. In fact, not even in New Japan, I think. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Like, this is his first time ever working heel. In fact, getting the audience to care. That's actually the great thing. He has never been that guy. He's always had to rely on his flips and incredible athleticism to get people to intrigued. But to care, that's a different story altogether. And Ricochet is trying to put things together. It's something that Will Ospreay learned a long time, a lot earlier compared to Ricochet. I'm comparing these two a lot because they were each other's parallels for the longest of times. Remember that crazy flippy match where they both backflipped and then landed like superheroes? That match that in some ways went incredibly viral. You know, that was very good for them to get. That match very much put them on the global map. But for them to have longevity, they need to get people to care. And Ospreay realized this really early on. He slowed things down. He put on more muscle mass. He did more promos. Will Ospreay has always been a damn good promos, even from his WCPWs. A lot of people do not realize this. He was a very good talker, even in his younger days. But he's been able to use more of that, displayed more of that. Now in AEW, he's actually cutting some damn good promos. So I remember there's this match that he did. Rocky Romero versus Will Ospreay in New Japan. Oh my God, that was such a good match. That match was slowed down a lot. Like, there was a year in Ospreay, in the Best of the Super Juniors. He slowed down by a good lot in that tournament, in that junior heavyweight tournament. But in spite of that, he was seen as the MVP in that tournament. Every match was an absolute banger because every match got you to care. You know? He slowed things down. He allowed the audience to take it all in, realize the risk of what was happening. And he was very much like, he became this almost indomitable wrestler. When he went up against people like I think it was Yo. He did this match that was just like, he got people like so emotionally invested. He went up against Rocky Romero, who was already a very, very good babyface at the time. And he made people cheer, wanted Rocky Romero so badly to win. That was how good that match was. I always feel that Ospreay makes decent promos. He's better now. He was all his athleticism really trumped was front and center stage for Ospreay's package in his earlier years. But he was always a good talker. Always. I actually had a lot of fun watching his promo segments in the WCPW days. Like I said, he was always a very good talker. But his crazy flips just got everyone's attention, even though he's always been a good talker. And now he can rely on it too. A good bit. So he's been incredible in that sense. And Ricochet, I'm very happy for him. He saw that as well. And he actually got people to care for Zack Sabre, is what I mean. Ricochet got people to care for Zack Sabre. That's no easy feat. But you could tell, unfortunately, that the audience was a little bit emotionally exhausted. You know, I kind of wish that because if I'm not wrong, it was back-to-back, if I'm not wrong. Let me just check very quickly. No, not this match. Yes, it was. Yes, so they was back-to-back. Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd, and then Zack Sabre versus Ricochet. It'll take me a while for me to love Rico. I'm so used to him in Dubba Dubba. Yeah, he's very much changing things up in AEW now. It's very, very intriguing, you know? If you were to tell me from 2 years ago that Ricochet is trying to work heel, I will laugh at you like, how is that possible? By building up Swerve Strickland. That's a start. That's a very good start. It's clear that he wants to develop himself, you know? Because I think we're coming into an era. We're not there yet, but we're coming into an era where where wrestlers are realizing you can't just rely on elite athleticism. It'll get you there, but it's not the end all be all, nor is it nor is that the only equation, you know, in order to become a draw. Remember, pro wrestling, us pro wrestlers, we see this as a business. We want to be the guys that people want to see. We want to be a draw that puts butts in seats that people actually want to see, you know, pay tickets for. That sort of a thing. Ricochet is realizing that a lot, and because there's this idea that I call it the power creep. I might have mentioned this before. There's only so much the human body can go through. There's only so many flips you can do in the air before you smack on the mat. And from what we can see, that limit is 630 centon. Has there been any attempt to go 720? Maybe. But is that risk even worth taking? You know? Actually, that brings me to my other point of discussion, actually. I have unfortunately seen... I don't know if it's recency bias or something, but Bronson Reed, Tanga Loa, most recently, yesterday, Doki, they all were injured because they did very, very risky high-flying moves. You know, Bronson Reed, a tsunami off the cage. Doki, he tried to do this crazy like a crazy what's the move called, a crazy senton from the top rope, from the top rope to the outside to El Desperado. That match went on. That was for the junior heavyweight match. And 5 minutes in, that match had to be completely called off. And I saw the match in I saw that particular moment in slow motion when Doki smashed his tailbone onto Desperado. He landed on his left arm. I could clearly see something went very, very wrong there. And the referee completely called off the match. I cannot recall the last time a New Japan match was completely called off. No, I can't. I'm sure it has happened before, but I've not seen it. At least on video. I think they were injured during War Games. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Bronson Reed had to go through surgery to fix his ankle. God knows what sort of rehab Doki has to go through. So, and that's the thing. We all like to see crazy high-flying moves. I like to see it. Hell, I actually like to do it to some extent. But I think we're coming into an era where a lot of wrestlers are realizing, okay, maybe to get the audience to care, we don't always have to do crazy, insane stunts. Because the variables, because especially when height is involved, height and distance is involved, the risk gets compounded significantly. Bronson Reed has been able to do tsunamis off the top rope very, very safely. He comes off unscathed. The one time he did a tsunami off the cage, he broke his foot. I know that Doki has done that crazy the crazy squatting senton before, but that was in the ring. I'm not sure the last of when he's last done that senton to the outside, but unfortunately, there were variables that he did not account for, and he landed bad. So that was such a huge pity too, because it's El Desperado versus Doki. I wanted to check out that match, but now I feel so bad for them. So instead of completely relying on crazy stunts all the time, why not get people to care in other different ways? It's wrestling. This ain't MMA. This ain't karate. This ain't that weird. There's other like combat sports as well that gets a little weird. We should lean into what makes pro wrestling unique. Lean into character work. Lean into riveting promos. So like for example, the three matches I watched today that really got me to care. I mentioned Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd. The other match I watched today was Takeshita versus Ishii. That was a much shorter match. But that match, once again, Ishii, for a man that barely talks, for a man that is everyone thinks of as a work rate guy, as someone who is all about the in-ring stuff, he gets you to care. A lot of people think that dude is just like, I'm just gonna keep on whacking you and taking in all these hits. In some ways, Ishii, Stone Pitbull, is the greatest illusionist in Japanese pro wrestling. He does stuff that is, I would say, relatively safe. He doesn't always go into the crazy stunts like some of the other guys. Like, God knows Omega does crazy stunts sometimes. And all of the junior heavyweights also rely on crazy stunts as well. But Ishii, he will get you to care. You know how? Like you see him get hit, and you wonder if he's able to come unscathed from that. He will absolutely be a stubborn pit bull and try to tank as many hits as possible, but he does go down. In fact, against Takeshita, oh man, he made Takeshita look like $1 million. Like, so early in that match, it was established that Ishii was in an uphill battle, and people were cheering on Ishii as a result. So Ishii, for coming off as very much the icon of the Never Openweight Championship. Am I disconnected? Hold on, am I disconnected? Oh man. Hold on. Wait, 1 second, let me check. Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? Backity, backity, back. You must attack the mat. Backity, backity, back. Hello. Ah. Hello there. I haven't said that in a while. Hello there. Y'all get what I mean? Y'all get what I mean? I thought it was mine. No, it was mine. Unfortunately, well, the 8 to 10 p.m. period is the internet, at least in my area, is a little bit wonky. Like I will go like frequently it will go in and out. It's rather annoying. It's been happening the past several months, which is kind of why I've been experimenting streaming in different time periods. If you've noticed, like, I will sometimes legit stream at 4 p.m. that sort of thing. Okay. So, in some ways, New Japan Pro Wrestling is going through a bit of a transition period, I suppose. Now that I see it, you got people like Yota Tsuji, Gabe Kidd, Shota Umino is very much in a bit of a transition period right now. So, but I think they're on the right track. You know, even with them sort of playing second fiddle to AEW, make no mistake, they're trying to carve out their own thing right now. I think they're doing a pretty good job at it. Like, you have to understand, without New Japan, there will be no AEW. I think a lot of the AEW wrestlers are in some ways indebted to New Japan. It's kind of why like Kenny even started in wanted to wrestle return in New Japan first as opposed to AEW. AEW, there's all sorts of things going on right now. That I believe that's what he said. So he wants to go back to where he really made a name for himself, which is Japan. You know, that was pretty neat. Oh yeah. Also, a little something that I mentioned. It wasn't just Gabe Kidd that also spoke in Japanese. I'm actually like really shocked that that ZSJ actually can speak pretty fluent Japanese now. Actually, it's actually amazing. I think that really does go. I mean, it's so hard to say because something that Zack Sabre has been trying to tout for a long time is that he will never leave New Japan. New Japan is his home. He is based in Japan now. He wants to continue to wrestle in New Japan almost indefinitely. You know, as opposed to someone like Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, going off to going off and establishing AEW. Zack Sabre wanting to stay in New Japan? Very noble of him, I suppose. But will that actually be true several years down the line? It remains to be seen. Like, he's done many interviews talking about this. He seems sincere in it. But I don't know if you've noticed, folks, but us wrestlers, sometimes, can you really trust what we say? I'll be honest. Can you really, truly trust what we say? Are we saying it to get a reaction? Are we saying something to sway at something in a certain way? Do you really know what we really feel? Maybe? LOL? Maybe. Because, and as someone who has been put in that position before, oh yes, I will absolutely mess with people. I will absolutely mess with people to sway things a certain way. Is sometimes just out of pure entertainment of it. I trust my WWE champion Kevin Owens, for example. I think that's kind of not what that's not exactly what I meant. So Kevin is Mr. KO himself is sort of going. So I'm sort of like referring to things outside of the wrestling spectrum. I'm saying that even when they're doing interviews that are more behind the scenesy, no, even then you should not completely rely or trust what a wrestler says, because we don't stop working. Just hear what we say, enjoy it, but don't fully get into it, almost for your own sakes. Just letting you all know right now, you know. And mind you, this whole thing about wrestlers saying something and then turns out it's not necessarily true. Even when it seems like it's a wrestler reviews all sort of an interview. You guys do realize that this isn't just a wrestling thing, right? Like, this is something that has been happening all across showbiz. At least with the you can maybe make the argument that they picked this up from professional wrestling. Maybe. Something like I'll give like a vague example. There's this one actor, very famous actor, who said that after playing this particular horror character, he swears that he will never do another horror movie character again, just because he was so overwhelmed working in it. How sure are we of that? Yeah? Was he saying that just to drum up intrigue for his next project, where he is playing another horror movie character, you know? Because that sort of hypocrisy will play into people's heads. Like, wait, didn't he say that? But then he's doing this. Wait, what is it? What was this about? Let me check this out. Is he actually playing another horror character, another scary movie character again? I thought, but he's in. See, and he got you. He got you. So, you know, have a little fun with that. Just don't buy into everything. Basically, don't believe everything. Don't believe what you see on the internet. Don't believe everything that you see on the internet. Please, God, no, please. Oh my goodness. Stay safe on the internet, folks. Even from entertainers. Also, I want to give out a little shout out actually to a fellow wrestler from the Southeast Asian wrestling scene, Matcha. Let me link her Twitter a little bit. So Matcha, I hope I'm saying that correctly, is a Thai female wrestler. She used to be known as Blue Lotus. Recently wrestled in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. She wrestled there quite a long time ago, like debuting there. She recently wrestled in TGPW again. I think, was it a week ago or something like that. And she had a bang of a match. I saw some clips of it. Bang of a match. Against Pom Harajuku for a championship match. And she was amazing in it. And it was, from what I can tell, a pretty emotional match for Matcha too, because she got to return to Tokyo Joshi Pro and wrestle in a championship match in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. But also unaware, TJPW is like Japan's second biggest women's wrestling promotion at this point. they're a firm number 2 behind Stardom. Oh yeah, I forgot. I should check that out too, because in Wrestle Kingdom and Dynasty, there were matches from the Stardom wrestlers. Stardom. Oh my goodness, Stardom is like, they have some of the craziest wrestlers in the world. Like, not male or female, just in general. They move at a breakneck pace that I am terrified of. And Tokyo Joshi Pro, because they are a little bit more attached to DDT, so they've got a little bit of more of a humorous variety show thing going. But make no mistake, they can go at it too. They're a little bit more variety show like DDT, but their wrestlers are amazing as well. People like Riho, people like Pom Harajuku, Miyu Yamashita. These are some like absolutely amazing wrestlers. So make no mistake, TGPW, quality wrestling as well. And from what I can see, Macha was absolutely fit in. Very proud of her. A Thai wrestler getting to do a championship match in Japan. How about that? I wanted to watch Stardom matches last year, but I got busy. Need to catch up. What better time than Wrestle Kingdom and Dynasty, I suppose. Let me check very quickly. Yes. Mayu Iwatani versus AZM in Wrestle Kingdom, and then in Wrestle Dynasty it is Mercedes Moné versus Mina Shirakawa. So that's 2 women's matches. No, actually, sorry. There's also Momo Watanabe versus Willow Nightingale, Athena, and Persephone. Persephone is from CMLL. I must admit, I tend to follow TGPW a little bit more than Stardom, for the simple fact that I want to check out more of DDT. Because, and part of what makes this very easy for me is Wrestle Universe, the subscription website for DDT, Noah, TJPW, and legitimately many other wrestling promotions. Actually, let me try to list them all. Let me try to list them up because it's such a great website. So New Japan Pro Wrestling has its own subscription website. AGPW has its own subscription website. Wrestle Universe, however, encompasses DDT, Noah, TGPW, Gunpro, Marigold, Sendai Girls, Michinoku, and Real 01. That's like 8 promotions in one. That's pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. Primer, welcome to Cafe Cornelius. How are you doing? I called you. Yeah. I did say I was going to stream today. I didn't set my waiting room to next week by accident. I changed it to today. How are you? Did you catch a little bit of wrestling the past couple of days? I've been doing well. I got to enjoy some good old-fashioned wrestling today. I'm doing fine, just a bit lazy, go to work tomorrow. Discipline over motivation, lad. Discipline over motivation. Oh, I didn't catch any wrestling, sadly. That's fine. We were talking a little bit about, a good bit about New Japan Pro Wrestling, in particular the Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty events. I'm basically just explaining to everyone that if you want to check out a website that encompasses multiple wrestling promotions, that will be WrestleUniverse.com. Wrestle-Universe.com. I'll link in the chat. Why not? What was your match of the year last year, Corn? Ooh, that's a good question. I haven't had a thought about that in a while. I gotta say, man, is it actually Is it actually Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes? Like, let's not forget, folks, WrestleMania 40 was last year, April. It was only last. It feels like a lifetime ago because of how much wrestling has happened last year. Is it actually? It would have been nice for me to say some other. It would have been more, I suppose, more in character of me to say some more obscure event, something more off kilter, something that seems more, me. But there is really is no denying how utterly important Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes was for the WWE Championship in WrestleMania 40, isn't it now? It is one of the most important wrestling events ever, and it feels almost an honor to be able to catch it within that week. Because it's one of those events that changed the face of pro wrestling. It is a return to form for WWE. It is WWE changed forever. So maybe I feel like you need to give me a few days. I will be talking about WrestleMania 40 in my 2024 recap. That has to happen. That's its own thing for sure. My match of the year in WWE is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre held in a cell. I did not catch that. Please understand. I can't be one of those like wrestling review podcast websites that watches every single main event, every single major wrestling event. I'm not a Kick to the Gut podcast. I'm not a wrestling podcast. I'm an active wrestler. I have to worry about my own wrestling matches, mind you. Okay. But I heard that's a good one. Indeed. So yeah, that's actually pretty insane. Last year was utterly insane when it comes to professional wrestling. That is for sure. Oh my goodness. Lots to talk about. So much good wrestling from everywhere. Oh yeah. Tomorrow. You know what's debuting tomorrow? I believe it's tomorrow, or at least in California time. Is it Pacific? Do they call it Pacific Western time or something like that? Yeah. PST time on January 6th. 2024 is a good wrestling year, definitely. Monday Night Raw premieres on Netflix. I believe that means if you apply for Netflix today, you get to see Monday Night Raw live, I believe. Like, I believe, Malaysia is one of the countries where you get to see WWE Raw on Netflix. Not every country will have this deal, but Malaysia, at least where I'm from, is one of them. It's not available here, sadly. Philippines, right? If I'm not wrong, Alina, right. So you guys have a different case. There's actually hold on. There's actually a website that talks about this. WWE itself actually has a bit of a list about this. WWE Netflix. Hold on. It's available somewhere else for you, I believe. Yeah, it's different for you guys in the Philippines. I can't. I wish I have that that website. Okay. I can't find it anymore. But if you were to go to www.com, it actually says it actually will let you know where you can watch it besides Netflix. A large number of it is going to be Netflix now. But there was one. I need to check out the news on this. I think your country has a WWE network. It's somewhere else if I'm not wrong. Wait, I need to. I'm trying to find it for you, but I can't. I've lost that website, unfortunately. I wish I had it. But yeah, there has been some exceptions, and I believe the Philippines is one of those exceptions where it's on another cable network, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, it's not a clean blanket thing. Certain countries will get different things. Yeah. Oh man, I wish I had that. Let me see. Still trying to look for it. Apologies. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Apparently, it's still WWE Network for the Philippines, which is a bit of a pity too. I gotta say, because because I know. Oh man, no, you like Filipino wrestling fans are crazy. Filipino wrestling fans are crazy. That is for damn sure. Okay. I have this at least. I have this website you guys can check out. I found it. So this should be a good listing of all of the places that has Raw on Netflix, and some of the exceptions, and there are plenty of exceptions. So countries like India, USA has a slightly different deal. Switzerland, Austria. Sub-Saharan Africa for some reason, France, Japan, and finally the Philippines. So we're in an era where WWE is not necessarily going to be on television. It's a bit of a new era indeed. Jeez, the past few years has been a lot of changes to professional wrestling, where the biggest wrestling promotion in the world has gone to streaming services. Very, very intriguing. And some of the matches they're going to start things off for Raw on Netflix is actually pretty wild too. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso, Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa. These are some of the announced matches that I'm seeing right now. So that's gonna be. So tomorrow is gonna be wild. I hope it doesn't buff over that. Yeah, buffering is gonna be a bit of an issue. I'm sure. We'll see. Netflix is pretty good with these sort of things, but. We'll see. All right. So yeah, that about covers it for me today, folks. I've said all that I can say about pro wrestling. Unless if you guys have any questions you wanna talk about, you have anything you want me to help clarify for you guys, that sort of a thing. I'll leave this open for a little bit longer before we wrap things up. In the meantime, folks, don't forget, my Loaniversary subathon / donathon thing is still ongoing. We've already surpassed 666 subs, so I will get to League of Legends. Don't worry. Just let me prepare just a little bit longer. But we will get to it within this month. If you were to donate, even like less than $1 away, we reach $30. It says, as it says, folks, donors at every $10 gets a free spin. So I will spin. Who's your wrestler of the year last year? Ooh, good question. Good question. Jeez. It's really, really hard to deny how important Cody Rhodes has been. This is almost like going out of I'm almost talking out of talking about in-ring quality and more of like the impact on the entire wrestling industry. Cody Rhodes did the impossible where he jumped ship from AEW, became an immediate main event player back in WWE, and finished the story of reclaiming the WWE Championship for his father, the late great Dusty Rhodes. To say that, I mean, it's that storyline impacted the entire wrestling industry and got people to care about wrestling where they haven't cared about it in a long time. It got people intrigued. It got people in the VTubing circle intrigued about pro wrestling. There are VTubers talking about wrestling again because of the significance of what Cody Rhodes did in WWE. It's so hard to deny the impact, and it is being felt. It will be felt for years and years. It's been too long since there's a likable babyface world champion in WWE. In some ways, he is very much trying to be that right now. Well, things are changing up a little bit, just a little bit with Cody Rhodes. So yeah, he was very much the white meat babyface that could still work and be a viable, competitive white meat babyface. I'll say this though. Okay, so I said the male wrestler. I'll give one more shout out to a female wrestler, and that female wrestler is Rhea Ripley. I'm in the VTubing circle, real hard and deep, right? There is perhaps no other professional wrestler that VTubers have mentioned more than Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley's butt, Rhea Ripley's smile, Rhea Ripley doing poses that gets all the ladies screaming at the top of their lungs. Welcome Apex to Cafe Cornelius. Guns living, have faith. Guns living indeed. What was I saying? Dang it, Apex! You wrecked my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh yes. Rhea Ripley just got so many ladies, got so many VTuber ladies quaking in their boots, shaking that they have found their new muscle mommy. She was the muscle mommy of 2024. I like Rhea, but my female wrestler of the year is Toni Storm. Was amazing in 2024. She reinvented herself in so many ways in 2024. But Rhea Ripley captured the hearts and attentions of every girl who was slightly into girls for 2024 and maybe 2025. So many of my fellow VTubers went utterly badonkers over Rhea Ripley. Been a while. How's 2025 doing for you, sir? It's doing well. Watched a bit of wrestling. Talked a bit of wrestling today. So it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I think that about covers it for tonight. I'll try to get out my schedule fairly soonish. But this has been lovely getting to chat about professional wrestling with you guys again. I don't know if this will be a weekly thing, but I do want this whole thing of me talking about wrestling with you guys. Because what is wrestling if not a bunch of friends on the couch having a jib jab over the absolute male/female physical melodrama that is professional wrestling? That I think that's actually one of the funnest parts about professional wrestling, where you just get to like shoot the shit with your friends and just share this absolute insanity that is professional wrestling with everyone. You're very welcome, Elena. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for sticking around for this entire stream. All right, folks. That is all for Cafe Cornelius. If you can, folks, please do follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky fairly often now these days. Oh my goodness. Can't believe it's still chugging along. See you around, Apex. Cafe Cornelius is now closing shop. May Cafe Cornelius never close in your hearts. Have a lovely night, Mina. Have a lovely